Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Inside AsembleAI. This is Sam Day.
And this is Mac Goswami. Today we are exploring AI in visual art, Midjourney, DALL-E, and the copyright battlefield. From Midjourney to DALL-E to the lawsuits that could reshape the entire industry. And before deep diving, I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that what is Midjourney is, those who don't know. So Midjourney is basically an independent research lab exploring new mediums of thought and expanding the imaginative powers of human species. And what about the DALL-E? DALL-E is an artificial intelligence model that can generate images when you supply it with textual descriptions. So I think the latest one is DALL-E 3. So I have used DALL-E 2, and it's a game-changing tools that you should definitely use it. On to
Thanks,
Sam.
Mac, for the background for our listeners. So let's start off with the big news in that industry. Back in June 2025, Disney, Universal, and Warner Brothers sued Midjourney for copyright infringement, called it as a bottomless pit of plagiarism. Warner Brothers even followed in September, calling it theft of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all those characters generated by or created by Warner Brothers. Now, Midjourney is one of those three dominant AI image generators with DALL-E and Stable Diffusion, as Mac mentioned. They're wildly successful, profitable, and millions of users. However, they got hit by the controversy. And that's what we're going to talk about in this particular episode. So, Mac, what do you think about all this creation, all this AI, and the copyright infringement lawsuits panned across in last 6-7 months?
I would say learning from being the key. So Midjourney says fair use. You say theft, right? And these tools take text prompts, cyberpunk city at sunset, right? So, and they generate high quality images in seconds. And if you remember correctly, like when you and me were involved in multiple projects previously on AI, a lot of our students, like they have asked us, like, even though it's so smart that, it is going to take 2-3 seconds, but what is the compliance? That are we really following that? And if you see all those apps, like they are saying, like they are not storing the data. So it's again a debatable questions that, where and how they're storing the data and how they're keeping the licenses. But at the same time, that's a revolution for sure. And every coins, has pros and cons.
That's correct. I mean, just to piggyback on what you said, because I did use Midjourney V7 that was launched back in April 2025, and it was kind of like near perfect, like the photorealistic, or it was so beautiful artistically. Like concept artists, game designers, marketers, they all kind of loved it. And also, like if you think about the other players like DALL-E 3, which I also use DALL-E 3 for some image generation projects, and I've seen that it's kind of like driven by GPT-4o's image generation model, and it's always focused on prompt accuracy, and you get exactly what you ask for. So it's kind of like a game changer. I would definitely, I could resonate with all the companies that are kind of like filing lawsuits against the OpenAI and other AI generation, music generation, or like image generation companies, because at the end of the day, the kind of products they're generating through AI are pretty perfect, and it's really endanger the human creativity to some extent. So of course they would like to preserve their proprietary things as well, right? And I think that's where I would say the conflict coming across here, and it's kind of like around a different philosophies, like Midjourney really going well with the artistry, DALL-E showing a really precise material, and stable diffusion is really for control purpose, right? Now, one thing I wanted to ask you that, so all these models, how would they get so better? What they're training for that be making them become so better that all these companies have to kind of like fight with them to preserve their creativity?
Absolutely. And open source, infinitely customizable, right? So the good thing is that it can be runnable locally, and you can do fine tune, integrate into your workflow. All developers would love it. When you say creativity, I would put it in that way. It's definitely creative, because I think the way we do our work, especially for the artistic industry, especially like for the graphic designer, the way they used to work now is changing because of AI. So creativity in the sense, I would call it in that way that creativity, you need to now show it on your prompt writing. So how you know that what kind of prompt that we are going to use right now. And I know that it's definitely losing the authenticity sometimes, but at the same times, in terms of productivity, I would say it would be 100x. And it's already 100x actually. Sam, like when we did a lot of AI projects, literally you can put you can simply put a prompt where you are telling in the prompt that what kind of background you need, what kind of how much, what will be the color, then what will be the thickness, everything, even in the background, um, you know, and what would be the sense of emotion that it did, and that will create a graphics like this within just few seconds. And I think if you see the authenticity in AI, you really cannot predict that what would be the authenticity. Of course, it's nowadays is very difficult, like which is sometimes that which is AI generated and which is not. So it's hard to predict about the authenticity, but I would say for me that it's more of innovative. And if I have called, especially the people like, who needs productivity and at the same time innovations within a very limited time. So I would say these kind of tools are exactly for them, like Midjourney for artistry, Dolly for precision, and of course, I think we forgot to mention a stable diffusion, right, for control. So
Yeah, no, that's correct. But the main concern here is that all these AI generated videos, images are flooding the market. Like if you go into like a social media nowadays, you probably see 80% of your contents are AI generated, right? So the question comes across is that how does a human artist compete when AI generates concept art in seconds for free, right? I think that's the answer we would like to share. I mean, we'd like to share our viewpoints with our listeners on that. Is that I will start first. My take is the specialization, is the intention, is the storytelling. I mean, one artist we researched, Lena, uses AI to generate thousands of game assets, but fine tunes models to maintain a consistent style. So it's adding, I mean, she's adding her own persona to the AI models. The AI is a tool, not a replacement. So we need to think in that way that if you're a human artist, if some of the listeners here are, you need to use AI to build your own persona, and that will feed into that AI generated images or videos, whatever you will create. So it's not replacing that, rather you're instilling your style into that AI generated videos. That's will make the cut. So that's my take. But Mac, I would love to hear your thoughts as well, that how we can keep the balance between human artistry and AI generated videos and contents.
so there are a lot of dimensions to answer this, because first of all, the definition of creativity, the definition of innovation is actually changing, and I think it's already changed in today's world. Now if you are dependent solely on your own skills, that you will be creating an graphics and you will be creating an image by some, not through any kind of AI tools, but the traditional way, some like Adobe, not even using AI. And that's it's a old way of thinking that how creative people work, right? I mean, but in today's world, if you are even creative persons, but you do not know how to create an image through AI prompting, then majority of people in today's world, they would not tell you that you are creative person, to be honest. So in today's world, I think the definitions of creativity has changed completely. I think 10 years back, what you call it as creativity, I think now that kind of creativity, that definition is totally obsolete. And in that sense, I think that more the creativity you need to show that how you are going to use different AI tools, and at the same time, how you are going to use different prompt techniques. And you definitely need to, so prompt engineering is one of the creativity for the world, especially like who are doing, I mean, in this artistic industry, that who are doing the graphic designer. And at the same time, you need to know the context as well, because I think it's more everything on contextual. So even though you're generating an artist, and even if you're creating a one picture of someone, you also need to know that what context it will be. So that's also you can create that. So based on that context and prompt, that will create it for you. So, and now your question that how to balance it, I would say I know a lot of graphic designer. They still kind of balancing in a way that they still creating their own thing, like in the traditional way. Let's say, only the part of like some of the part, which are the main part that cannot be doable through AI. So they are doing it on their own way, the traditional way. But other part, maybe a layer into it, they are putting it, with the AI layer, and they are putting the prompt engineering. They're using AI. So even with the hybrid model, they still saving and in that sense, it is saving money and saving time as well.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what Max said, even from the copyright standpoint, some of the companies, they're also working together to ensure they're carrying out some ethical practices. Like I know for a fact that Adobe Firefly, they trained exclusively on Adobe stock and public domain data. I mean, they are making sure that their products that their AI is generating are commercially safe, but maybe not as good as Midjourney artistically, but they're also making sure they're keeping the balance between ethical AI and the creativity. Because some of this brand, they don't want to deal with the legal risk, right? Rather, they will pay more for guaranteed compliance and training AI model based on their in-house proprietary data. Even a lot of marketing agencies and companies are also doing the same thing, making sure that they are making sure that their AI generated models are within their company firewall, training on their company proprietary data. So that's how they're balancing the AI innovation and the ethical part of it. So it's like more rapid prototyping, more explicit laws and compliance will come into the picture, but nothing will prevent the uses of AI creativity. It will still continue, like Mac mentioned, we'll still see millions and millions of images or videos flooding the market. But at the end of the day, back to these lawsuits for which we are having these episodes, those lawsuits will still come. But at the end of the day, most of these companies will hire more compliance lawyers to make sure their interest is safeguarded, and they also provide proper justification of any AI generated videos and stuff. That's kind of my opinion on that. Anything else do you want to add, Mac, before we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, and absolutely, Sam. I mean, what you just said, right? Just wanted to let you know, just to giving an example. In 2018, Edmund de Bellamy sold at Christie's for 432,500. Now it's pure AI generations are now cheap and abundant, but AI assisted work by recognized artists finds the buyers. So you still can do innovation. It's not that since AI is here and innovations is gone because everything AI is being handled. But to run the AI, to get a control of AI, it's still human involvement. It's still needed, and just do not assume anything that AI will be doing for you. So one other thing I definitely want to mention in our conversation, that as an AI educator, I must say that whenever for any graphic designers, if you will be creating a logo or you will be creating any image of someone image, do not put any of the celebrities or anyone else apart from you without any written consents. That will be clearly violation of law. So, and it will be creating a lot of compliance issues. So even though, because, they have that option, because some of the tools that I have used previously, I think Dali, a Microsoft designer, the moment you will put some of the celebrities, if you just put it in a prompt, then they will clearly say that. And if you put in the prompt any of the celebrities' names, or so it will clearly tell you like they cannot do the AI generated image. So that means that these are compliant. I mean, I would call it in that way. But if some of the AI tools that you encounter and you were simply creating that, it puts someone else photo and they will create it, and when you will get that AI pictures, I would try to refrain from it. I don't want to use that tool.
I think
Just to
that's
guide.
a really a good suggestion for our listeners here. So that's all for today. I know we are still early in this phase of AI technological innovation impacting the visual arts and the whole video and music industry by itself. There will be more lawsuits coming, but those lawsuits will take years to resolve. But one thing for sure, the technology will keep improving. How this shakes out, that's anyone's guess. We don't know we don't have the crystal ball right now. Thanks for listening to Assemble AI. If you like this episode, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, please give us a rating on Spotify. We are there as well. And this AI art revolution is definitely messy, controversial, and unstoppable. But what we're going to say here is that keep creating, keep innovating, keep exploring all these AI tools and see which one would amplify your human innovation, however, the way you want to define it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.